Hello everyone, and I welcome you all to the All Computer classes. We are covering chapter 1 of class 9th, and the chapter is computer system, and these are the 4 topics that we will be covering today. Functions of computer, the basic organization of computer, CPU and its components, and units of memory. So let's cover it. Function. So the basic function of computer is to take some input and process it, right? So what is input? Computer accepts the input given by the user. It can be an instruction or data. It could be a single instruction or a set of instruction to perform a series of steps. This set of instruction is called program. So this is a small description about the input. So next is processing. The process of converting, this is off. So the process of converting unorganized data into meaningful information is called processing. Okay, next is storage. So the processed data is stored, and whenever it is required it is retrieved. Okay, then the output is given on the output devices, right? So the basic function of computer is to take some input, process it, and give the output, and the output is stored and later on retrieved. Okay, next is the basic organization of computer. So how this machine is organized and how these components are communicating with each other. So the input is given to the central processing unit, which is called processor. Processor or CPU works on the input and gives the output, and then the given output is also stored, and whenever it is required it is retrieved. So this is a simple diagram, and this is a bit detailed diagram. So what is the input? Input is data or instructions. Okay, and what are the components of CPU? So CPU is containing 3 main working units, that is control unit, then memory unit, and arithmetic logical unit. So CPU is made up of these 3 things mainly. So all these 3 things works and process the data which is given by the input and gives the output. Okay, and the output is also stored, right? So the continuous flow of data and flow of instruction takes place in the computer. Now what is input and how it is given? So the user input and instructions are given by using devices like mouse, keyboard, mic, scanner, etc. Then CPU works on it. So what is the CPU? It is a main unit of a computer. It is very small and is called microprocessor. Microprocessor is a type of IC. IC means integrated circuit, and it contains millions of transistors. So all these millions of transistors, what they do? They work together to store and manipulate data, so that the microprocessor can perform a wide variety of work or function, right? The speed of the CPU is determined by the number of instructions it executes per second. It controls all the internal and external devices. It performs arithmetic and logic unit. So we know that that CPU is made up of control unit, arithmetic logical unit, and memory unit. So the control unit would be controlling all internal and external devices. Arithmetic and logical operation performed using ALU. Okay, so this is about CPU. Next is output. The output of a computer accepts, the output unit of a computer accepts the information from the CPU and displays it on the usable readable devices like visual display unit, speaker, and printer, right? Now let's see what are the main components of central processing unit. So 3 components: memory unit, control unit, and arithmetic logical unit. So we will be covering these 3 things in detail now. So first of all, memory unit. So what is memory unit? Memory unit, it is a principal storage of computer. It stores both data and instruction, right? For example, we want to add 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 are the data, and what is the instruction? Instruction is to add them, right? So it stores both data and instruction. The memory unit is linked with other parts of computer and sends them data whenever needed, right? So this memory unit is broadly divided into 2 categories. One is internal memory and external memory. So this is a hierarchical structure of a memory. It is explaining the major types of memories. So memory unit, internal memory, and external memory. Internal memory are RAM, ROM, and cache memory. Further, they are of certain types. So we will be covering all these things in detail. So these three memories works closely with CPU, right? Now what is internal memory? Internal memory or primary memory or main memory, so they are one and the same thing. So what is the specialty of this memory? These internal memory are very fast, they are expensive, but has a limited storage capacity. So this is the feature of internal memory. So three types of internal memory: RAM, ROM and cache memory, right? So first of all, RAM memory. This is how your RAM looks like. RAM is called random access memory. It is a volatile memory as the data and instructions are stored temporarily during its processing only. Okay, so when the data is being processed, the memory or the data remains activated in the RAM and lost forever when the computer is switched off. It can be accessed randomly, means the data is stored in this, so we need not to go sequentially to access the data. So it will directly go to the memory location and access the data. Whatever information we enter into computer goes into RAM and remains there as long as we are working on that application, right? For example, calculator. So how do you use calculator? You just give the number and instruction and press is equal to, you get the result, and the moment you press off button, everything goes off. Next is types of RAM. So the first type is dynamic RAM. It stores the data temporarily as the data lost when the power supply is suspended. It needs to be refreshed periodically in order to retain the data, right? So this need to be refreshed in order to retain the data. Next is static RAM. It is fast and expensive. It does not need to be refreshed like dynamic RAM. It loses data when the power is turned off. Okay. Next is SDRAM, that is synchronous dynamic random access memory. So it uses synchronous interface to transmit large amount of data at high speed. So from where it has to transmit data? It has to transmit data from RAM to CPU. So if it is working on a high speed and it is transferring large amount of data, of course it will improve the overall efficiency of a computer, right? Next is DDR, that is double data rate memory. It is mainly used in Intel Pentium 4 system. It requires less power and has speed which is double than that of SDRAM, right? The high speed double data rate memory 2, DDR3, DDR4 are used with the faster processors like i3, i5 and i7. So we know that these are the latest processor and they work on good speed. So what is the feature? This is the one of the reason that is making these processor fast, that is double data rate memories. Next is ROM. So ROM is read-only memory. Information can be read only, not by us but by the system. It is a non-volatile memory as it stores information permanently. So once the data is written on the ROM, it is being accessed and read by the system. Data stored in ROM can neither be modified nor be removed. Now the primary task of ROM is during the booting process. So the moment we click the start button, it gives electrical signal to ROM memory, and this ROM is containing a program which is called Bootstrap Loader, which helps in booting the computer system. This is how your ROM look. So ROM contains Bootstrap Loader, which actually loads or starts your computer. Booting means starting up the computer. For example, your audio video disk example ROM means you have a series. If one CD is written, you cannot modify it until it is a rewritable CD. Next is types of ROM. So first is programmable read-only memory. The content can be programmed using a special device known as PROM programmer. It is called OTP, means one time programmable ROM. So means it can be only one time programmed. It cannot be reused. It is faster and less expensive. Next is EEPROM. This was use and throw kind of memory, and this can be erased and reprogrammed. So it can be erased and reprogrammed repeatedly with the help of specialized software. The contents stored in chip can be erased by exposing it to ultraviolet rays. This process can be done many times. However, this makes the chip useless. Next is EEPROM, that is electronically erasable programmable read-only memory. The content on the chip can be erased and reprogrammed in blocks instead of one byte at a time. It has a provision of selective removal also, right? So which means you can select the particular byte and remove it, right? Next is flash memory. It is a specific type of EEPROM, which means it maintains the stored information even without a power source. The content can be erased. The content of flash memory can be erased and reprogrammed into a big section, making it faster than a regular EEPROM. Because of its durability, this flash memory is used in memory card, phones and MP3 player. Next is masked ROM. Masked ROM is manufactured with its content. So while it is being manufactured, the content is written at that time. This chip contains a software mask that is burned on the chip during the design phase of a semiconductor manufacturing process. It is used in the computer that require long-term sustainability, right? Next is the third type of internal memory was cache memory. So cache is high-speed memory which can either be inserted on the motherboard or it can be made a part of the CPU. The CPU uses cache memory to store instructions that are repeatedly required to run program. So what happens then? It improves the overall speed of a computer because every work is to be done by the CPU, and CPU executes millions of instructions in a second. If data is accessible easily by the CPU, its speed would be faster, right? So that's how the cache memory is helping in boosting the speed of a computer. It is much more expensive than RAM. So the advantage of using cache memory is that CPU does not have to use the system buses of the motherboard to transfer the data, and thus it makes the processing speed much faster. Next is external memory. External memory is also called secondary memory or auxiliary memory. Why external memory is needed when we are already having three types of internal memory? It is needed because the main memory is temporary, expensive and insufficient to store huge amount of data. So we need external memory. The speed of the secondary memory is much slower than that of the internal memory. So why the speed of the external memory is slow? Because it is attached externally. For transmitting the data, it has to take the permission from the control unit and it has to use the system buses to transfer the data. And moreover, the size of the external devices or external memory is big. To extract the data, it takes more time. So hard disk, CD, DVD, pen drive, all these are the example of external memory. Next is units of memory. So group of 4 bits is called nibble. Group of 8 bits is called byte. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobytes. 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabytes. 1 terabyte is equal to 1024 gigabyte. And 1 petabyte is equal to 1024 terabyte. The next part, the first part was memory unit, in which we covered all the types of external and internal memories. Now the next is arithmetic and logical unit. So this unit of a computer handles all the arithmetic operations and logical operation. Okay. So ALU is a component of a CPU. You know that. Control unit, memory unit and arithmetic logic unit. The three are components of a CPU. It performs arithmetic and logical operation on an operand, right? So what are the arithmetic operations? Arithmetic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, right? Logical operations are less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to and not equal to, etc. They are logical operation, right? So on the basis of the logical operation, condition is true or false, and on the basis of the result of the logical operation, the operations are performed. So the third component of a CPU, that is central processing unit, is a control unit. Control unit controls the operation of every other components of a computer. For example, to execute the instruction, the components of a computer receives the signals from the control unit of a computer, right? It also controls the transfer of data and instruction among the various units of a computer. It means all the components that are connected in the computer, inside or outside, they are controlled by the control unit. We say that it is controlled by the CPU, but which unit of or which component of a CPU actually is controlling, actually dedicated working for this, that is control unit, right? It extracts the instruction from a memory, decodes and sends the necessary signal to the arithmetic logical unit to perform the required operation. All the arithmetic and logical operations are performed using ALU, and that also receives the signals or work according to the control unit, because control unit extracts the instruction from the memory, decodes them and then sends to the ALU, right? Then control unit is called a central nervous system of a computer system. So how central nervous system works in our body? In our body, all the organs, all the major organs, every major organ is controlled by the nervous system, right? They are connected to each other. That's how they are working in harmony with each other. So in the same way, all the units of the computer are controlled and connected to the control unit, right? So it is every major part or every major component of a computer is connected to the control unit, and they are managed by the control unit, right? So this is how the third major component of a CPU, that is control unit, works, right? So students, just learn it, revise it. If you have doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll try to clarify them. And keep learning and keep revising, and God bless you all.